So what would you say are some of the benefits? We're working at a company like Remax. What are the things you like about where you work?
The one thing I like is that I can do whatever I want. Like I really don't have to do, we have maybe 2 meetings a year that I show up to.
Nice.
And other than that, like I don't have to do anything. Like there's no structure at all. I can do 100% my own structure.
That's awesome,
So I
man.
love the freedom.
Do they do that for everyone or just the people that hit a certain?
Just because Ryan's
Here-
crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Sean. Like as long as you pay your bill, you can pretty much get away with murder in here. Right.
Yeah.
If you don't pay your bill, like, okay, they're going to have a conversation with you.
Welcome to the podcast dedicated to real estate, insurance, and everything in between. Join us as we take you along our own brokerage building journeys with additional wisdom from our network of business experts. Welcome to Bricks and Risk. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Bricks and Risk. I'm Tim Garrity.
And I'm Sean Mooney.
And today, Sean, we have an awesome guest on, childhood friend of mine and actually of yours as well.
We're going to find out.
As I just learned. So we'll get to that. We have Ryan Petrucci on from Remax Mainline outside of Philadelphia. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, likewise, man. We're doing great. So a little brief background on Ryan. So Ryan grew up in suburban Philadelphia, as did we. Just a few blocks actually from me and right around the corner from Sean. So he began his career as a successful real estate agent right out of college. With real estate in his blood, so his mom, his uncle, his aunt, and his cousin all being in the business, Ryan chose to work for the family business, which is Remax Mainline. Having been licensed for 20 plus years, Ryan is a consistent $20 million producer year in and year out, priding himself on communication and knowledge to better service clients. Ryan is also a longtime homeowner and investor, buying his first home at the age of 24. So we were just talking about this, Ryan. So you were born in Abington, Pennsylvania, as was I. Grew up right around the corner from Sean and I. One thing we noticed, we're all one of four. And we're all second in line. We all have older brothers, which is pretty random.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Did you get that from Wikipedia?
I did.
Nice.
I got it from Ryan's page on Wikipedia just to make sure and clarify all the facts. So again, you and I have known each other since we were 6 years old. Sean and I have known each other since we were 10. So needless to say, we're all locals. So aside from working for your family's business, what benefits did growing up locally give you as you got started in real estate as an agent?
I mean, I knew the area. That was the benefit. But I'll correct one of the things that you said in the introduction. I didn't start out as a successful real estate agent.
Come
It happened
on.
after 20 years of, going at it. So
Can I
yeah.
just stop the tape right there?
Sure.
This is one of the points I wanted to bring up because your point of being a successful real estate agent, it's not like it happens overnight. Number one.
Yep.
Number two, people just assume and they see things online or they see things in the industry like, oh, Ryan Petrucci does this much, but they never get into the deep trenches of like the work that goes into becoming a $20 million a year producer.
What's that iceberg example you always give from the poster?
The little bit up top and then this much underneath the water.
Yep, it's what no one sees.
And no one sees that. So I really, before we get any further, I'd love to hear you talk about the work that goes into it and the work that you put in like this year, what you'll be doing, and maybe like the work that you've accumulated over the years to get to that point, from the beginning.
Wow, that would take me probably like 45 minutes to answer that
All right,
question.
let's go with the cliff notes.
It's pretty much it's starting out and just doing whatever you can to do deals.
But initially, right? So let's just like you started doing real estate after college.
Yeah.
And you weren't doing $20 million a year.
No, I
Right.
made my first year in real estate, it was like $18,000 in commissions.
Yeah.
And then I had to pay expenses on that.
Yeah.
So I probably made like $5,000 that year.
Yeah.
And I was working full time because my expenses were lower then, but it was still a lot of money. And literally full time for the entire year, probably 40 hours a week, and walked away with that much.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I don't know how many
So
dollars an hour that is. But
So I have a question. So let's jump on that a little bit. So when you got started, so in your first year, you don't have anything, even though we grew up locally and we all knew the area and we all had friends and we had family and we had people from college or high school or grade school that we knew that we could potentially help them with their real estate needs, whether they're buying, selling, renting, investing, whatever. Go back to that first year. What were some of the things that you were investing in early on to kind of get you going, knowing that you were new and you really didn't have any opportunity in front of you aside from your network?
As far as investing goes, I wasn't really investing in much. I didn't know anything. I was just kind of sitting open houses, getting a buyer, driving all over the universe to sell them a property. It was a lot of pushing and pulling to just even just get by that first year.
and how are you developing like your network at that point?
Well, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't developing it at all. No, no. It wasn't until I got into it after like a few years where I kind of got more honed in. And then I got involved with coaching. Real estate coaching showed me like how to actually work it like a business and act like a business and have a day set up where I basically have like an 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. job every single day and to follow a schedule.
So more of like a structured day. What year was that? So how many years were you in real estate when you just said, hey, I need like a professional coach, someone with experience, someone that can tell me, again, we're all entrepreneurs. Like we're all in sales. We're all 1099. So again, like the only person holding us accountable is ourselves. So with that person helping you out, kind of what were they doing to help you out early on that really stuck?
So I got licensed in 2002, and I think in 2006, maybe 2007, I hired my first coach, and that was helpful. And then in 2010, I hired another coach, and at that point, it got more dialed in terms of what my schedule looked like. And it's pretty simple. It's get in at 8 o'clock in the morning, hit the phones from 8 to noon or 8 to 11 for 3 hours a day, make contacts, and then the afternoon kind of filled itself out from there with appointments.
Wow.
8 to 11, who are you looking to connect with when you're making phone calls?
Yeah, were those warm calls? Were they cold calls?
They were cold calls, warm calls, calling people I know, calling people I don't know, just really hitting the phones and being very intentional in that 3 to 4 hours. And I still do that today. I do that every single day right now.
Are you still with the same coach today that you started with in 2010?
I'm not. No. I switched, and I was happy I switched, just because now I'm more focusing on kind of like what I want out of life. I don't want to just keep having to do this every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So that actually brings me to one of our next points. So I know one of your passions is wealth building, passive income. So talk a little bit about why those appeal to you, being in real estate now 20 plus years. Again, you're super successful at sales, like 20 million in volume for a solo agent. I know you have support behind you. I know you got people that help you with your social media. You got transaction coordinator, like you have help, even though you don't have a team of like 2 agents, 10 agents behind you. But talk a little bit about that now that you're like, we're all in our 40s now and we're looking at life a little bit differently. Talk a little bit about those things.
So one thing I don't want to be doing is I don't want to be working for the rest of my life because I have to. It's one thing if I choose to, but I want to set it up because we don't have. And when you're in business for yourself, you're an entrepreneur. We don't have like the company doesn't just give us like a pension at the end of the day. So I'm very intentional that I want to set up passive income, money where I don't have to trade my time for, that will come regardless of me having to work for it. and I want to get there like lightning quick. And I'm now finally taking steps in order to do that so that I can, not have to work as hard as much as if I want to, or not have to work at all.
Does that mean you're buying investment properties and building a portfolio on your end? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I was doing that. I did own like single family investment properties. I had since sold them off. So what I
Oh,
found, Sean, is that those were just taking away from my day,
Yeah.
my day-to-day stuff. And my best gift for myself is just listing and selling real estate in high volume. Like that's how I make money. So if I had those other properties and I was having to deal with tenants and,
Yeah.
having to deal with getting repairs made and dealing with contractors and, all that stuff, it was just taking my attention away. Yeah. Time and attention away. So I sold those properties, and now I only do syndications
oh,
where, yeah, someone else goes out and finds the deal. Someone
Yep.
else negotiates the deal. Someone else finds the tenants and they deal with the property management, and I give them the money. I don't have to do anything. I'm okay with taking less of
Yeah.
a
By
return
doing a lot
by
less.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's more like the silent investor approach. And it's funny, I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet because we're on our
The
second.
syndications.
Yeah, we're on our second friends and family syndication project locally. So we'll chat about that
Yeah.
another time. I think we talked about it the last time we met. Um, so so Mooney had talked about this earlier. So again, you have a very structured day. You're like 8 to 6. Um, the coaching has done wonders for you because you're like, hey, knowing like getting up at like the same time every day, like having a good breakfast, exercising. Again, we were talking about this earlier, like listening to podcasts, like, educating yourself in the morning, getting you pumped up to go into the office and do your thing. What are some of the other things that you do in your business to grow your volume and retain like the people that you have? Because like, for example, Mooney and I talk a lot about being relationship based, growing up around here, helping people. Like Mooney wants to be their insurance broker for life. I want to be someone's real estate agent for life, as do you. So what are the other things that you do kind of like day in, day out, week in, week out,
Or
month
maybe he
in, month
doesn't.
out?
Maybe that's a different way that he goes about it.
That's possible. Yeah.
What's that?
So
Just building in like relationship building. We've gone back and forth about what's the better way, or there's many ways to kind of build your business and have that model in place. And one is kind of what we do is word of mouth, referrals, building a network. And the other is just straight transaction. It's the marketing plan to get to the masses, then to like convert those people. So a lot of ways to do it. And I just don't assume that
yeah.
this is what you do, or I'm just open to hearing how you do it.
Yeah. So I think and I can only talk for real estate. I think in real estate, you can either hunt. Well, you have to. You can either you hunt for business every single day, but you can also farm for it.
Yeah.
So hunting would be like cold calling like expired listings, calling by owners, setting appointments with them. That gives you quicker cash.
Yeah.
All right. Whereas doing the more farming method is where you're cultivating like your brand maybe over
Yep.
the internet. And that's going to build up over time. The problem with that is it's going to require time and effort and money put into it. But I think over the long term, you're going to be better off because you're not going to have to spend as much time on the phones hunting every single day.
Yeah.
So I think if you can combine both of those, like that's where your business is going to see an inflection point.
Like a hybrid model of combining the two.
It's almost
Yeah.
like, and different ways I've heard it are, people talk about, so like the farming method you're talking about, like relationship based marketing, that's when people know you, they get to like you, and then they get to trust you. And
That's exactly right.
that could be through branding, like you're saying, could be postcard campaigns, could be social media, could be phone calls, text messages, websites, whatever it is. But also what he's talking about too, like, the more of the hunting method is lead gen.
Yeah.
I mean, most people just call it lead gen now. And, I think for me personally in real estate, I've always been more the farmer, is kind of like, I'm taking my time. I'm like making sure that soil's looking great. It's aerated. And then I'm going out. I'm selectively picking the seeds. And it's like, man, how often these things need to be watered? Like, am I going to harvest it on time? Like, I've always been like that, which to your point, over time will drastically improve your marketing ROI. Because if the business just starts coming to you because they trust you and you've helped them 1 time, 3 times, 10 times, then again, you don't need to hunt as much because the volume is there more through the relationship. But again, for lead gen, I haven't been much of a cold caller, I'll be honest with you. But lead gen for me would be like networking with people I don't know. It would be, doing social media and basically putting things out there. I don't know all my followers, I don't know who's checking out my stuff on LinkedIn. I don't do a whole lot of email lead gen, but I would say like networking and, social media and things like that for me have always, been good. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. Obviously for us, it's we do rely on referrals. Like that is just the meat and potatoes of our business. It's just, can't stress it enough.
Yeah.
It's the best business. It's the close ratio on referrals is so much higher. It's where our time is best spent.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. You don't have to pay referral fees. You don't have to pay, you don't have to pay for advertising. It's really, they know you, they like you, they trust you, they're going to do business with you.
Yeah.
That's the benefit.
Yeah. You're not selling yourself to them. They're coming in and you're already like pre-qualified to them.
Yeah.
And so they're more willing to work with you and want to work as a team as opposed to someone that's coming new, that's coming cold, now they're interviewing you, right? Why do you want to be my broker? Why should I let you be my broker? And those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Tooch, going back a little bit, was there ever a year, so like in those first 4 years, because Tim often references the abandonment rate for realtors. Was there ever a year or a time where you were like, man, this isn't for me? I know you've been doing it a while, but was there ever a point where you're like, I should look at doing something else here?
Yes. I think anybody who says no, like they're crazy.
Flat
You
line.
always have that
Yeah.
doubt. It's hard. Like it's very, very hard. And that first year was just brutal. I remember looking at myself in the mirror and thinking like, what the hell am I doing? I'm spending so much time trying to make this happen and it's not working. So yeah, there's a lot of doubt that comes in. I don't think about it anymore, but when I first started, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Is there anything that like you turned that corner, like that you can remember, like, this is terrible, but maybe there was like one sale or a string of like
a good client or like a really good deal, anything you can remember?
Tough to remember. I think after the first year I got through, and then like the second year I like tripled how much I made, which wasn't a lot by the way, but I still was able to triple it. And I was like, you know what, if I can triple this, then I can triple it the next year.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of sticking with it. And I think after the first year, like I knew I wanted to do it and I knew I wanted to be good at it. And for me, like that was all I needed to just kind of push through all the bad parts. Yeah.
Nice.
Sticking with it just like we are as Eagles fans.
Yeah.
As much as we want to just die over the last couple of years after they lose these games, like we still wake up and we throw on 97.5 and we listen to the misery of the Eagles kingdom of fans saying,
like my son, he's like,
what are you going to do with the coaches?
My son's like, after the game, he like takes his jersey off. He's like, I'm done with this.
Go burn this, Dad.
I'm like, well, it's still our team, So you still have to wear that jersey next year. So
if they draft like that good wide receiver in April, you'll be like, oh my God, I can't wait can't wait till the season starts.
Exactly.
Nice. All right, so here's a good question. So you work with family. I work with family too. But you have kind of a unique situation. So your family owns a Remax. It's your uncle. And your mom's been in the business. Your cousin Tom's been in the business. You're unique in the fact you've never switched. So you started with Remax. You're still there today, which is super admirable because most people in real estate, as you know, I mean, I run a brokerage, like people flip-flop every 2, 3, 5 years. They leveraged themselves to go get more. Oh, I got a better split. Oh, they gave me the good office. Oh, I got more leads. Oh, I'm working with such and such now. So my business is going to skyrocket. Like you and I have heard it time and time again. So I applaud you for that. I think that's awesome. But so working for the same brokerage, and most of the time, this is nothing negative. I call them big box shops, just like Mooney calls them big box insurance for like State Farm and Allstate, because they're the big real estate companies. So what are some of the benefits you've had working with Remax over the years? And are there any things that you wish were a little different or you were like intrigued about over the years because you're like, hey, I always stuck with it and I don't know what the grass is like on the other side. So is there anything that you wish was like a little bit different about your environment?
As far as company goes, no, that it was just never an option to kind of look out at different companies. People ask me like, oh, you work with your family. And I guess I do, but I really don't think I do because I can go like 2 weeks without seeing my mom. I don't actually like work with her.
You better call her though, Tooch.
Yeah.
If you don't see her in 2 weeks, you still better call her.
Wants to know if you're coming back to Abington for Sunday dinner.
Yeah. No, but she's like everybody else. Like she needs an appointment to like walk into like my physical office. If she knows I'm on the phone doing lead generating, like she's like, don't call me from in the morning. You can call me like after like noon, but don't call me in the morning because I'm hitting the phones. So, I never really looked at it as, hey, this is like, I don't know that it was a, if
you're
it was
like
a
family,
benefit.
you're not like a family team. Your businesses are separate, even though you happen to all work at the same company.
Exactly. We're like independently owned and operated. Like I don't even really think of them as working with my family.
So what would you say are some of the benefits for working at a company like Remax? What are the things you like about where you work?
The one thing I like is that I can do whatever I want. Like I really don't have to we have maybe 2 meetings a year that I show up to.
Nice.
And other than that, like I don't have to do anything. Like there's no structure at all. I can do 100% my own structure.
That's awesome, man.
So I love the freedom.
Do they do that for everyone or just the people that hit a certain?
Just because Ryan's crushing it?
Yeah. Here's the thing, Sean. Like, as long as you pay your bill, you can pretty much get away with murder in here, right? Yeah. If you don't pay your bill, like, okay, they're going to have a conversation with you.
What's the bill? What do you mean the bill?
Does that also mean like you can take your shirt off at the company holiday party and stand on top of a table and chug your beer?
If you want.
That used to happen at the old back in the day. Not so much recently.
I mean, we know Sean's done it. I mean, Ryan and I would never do anything like that. Because if we did, I think we would get in trouble. People are like, why are Tim and Ryan doing that? But people look at you do it and they're like, oh yeah, of course. Mooney's here.
It's his thing.
It's completely normal for Sean.
That's right. They're like, and they're playing Beastie Boys. So of course he would be getting up and doing that.
Tooch, I can't get you off my feed. Can we talk about this for a little bit? I can't get rid of you.
Yeah.
Your videos are great, man. Talk a little bit about those because you kind of just started. I don't want to say you started doing it. You started very consistently. I noticed on Instagram. So Instagram's kind of like my platform. That's what I like. But dude, your videos.
Twitter, Instagram,
oh,
Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really jump
TikTok.
on. I don't jump on. Well, I definitely
MySpace.
TikTok.
He's everywhere.
I don't think I'm on MySpace anymore, but
maybe they were older videos.
They could be older videos, yeah. the way that was put to me, and I was never like big into social media. Like I just never was really into it.
Yeah.
But the way someone described it to me, and this was recently in the last like probably like year and a half, they were like, listen, it's not social media, it's media. And you have far better leverage to get out there with media than if you just are hitting the phones or sending emails to your database. It's just a highly leveraged activity to do.
And can you tell us some of the responses you've gotten some like clients that have reached out, maybe some cold people that were like, hey, I saw this or saw that, and I'd like to work with you. Just some wins that you've kind of gotten.
Yeah. Like people will think they know me before like I even know them. Yeah, and I already have like, it's like I have leverage over them. It's like I have credibility. Like the second I walk in the door, they'll be like, oh, I know you from your videos. And it's just it makes the process of doing business a lot easier. They know and trust me.
So does that convert? So in that scenario, is it change the dynamic from a cold lead to a warm lead? Would you say, because now that there is a relationship,
Yeah.
but not really. It's kind of artificial, but at least they know what you're about and and then what you do.
Yeah, it's still a cold lead to me.
Yeah,
but I have credibility with them, so it's much warmer. The resistance is down. They're not asking as many questions. They're not as
so you've already like cleared up one hurdle of doing getting that initial contact of
yeah.
It's like
Absolutely. It's like
no one like. They already know him. They already like him. They've seen a video. Now he comes
Build
through
trust.
the front door and he's delivering. Hey everyone, this is Tim, your favorite Bricks and Risk co-host. But don't tell Sean. I hope you're enjoying this episode, and I'll get right back to it in a moment. Our audience grows through word of mouth, so if you would please take a moment of your time and give us a review on the platform you're on, that would be fantastic. Please also help spread the BNR word by sharing your favorite episode with a friend. We greatly appreciate your time and trust. Now, back to the show. So here it brings up something else that I had here, which I didn't know. So you and I grabbed lunch a couple months ago just to like catch up and like see how everyone's doing and, check in on each other's businesses. But one thing you told me, which I didn't know about your business, is that you're primarily listings, which means you work with sellers like almost exclusively. And I was like, wow, that's super impressive. Like not too many people can say that. Not too many people can say that with the amount of volume you do as well. So what was it? Like, how long have you been that way where it's like if you get a buyer client, you're more or less giving that to an agent that you trust and collecting probably like a referral fee or building a relationship or something through that. And then you're literally laser focused on the niche of just working with sellers. So talk a little bit about that. Like what made you start going that direction?
So I did that probably right around like COVID is when I stopped. Right when COVID started, just kind of let that aspect of it go. It's funny. I was helping my brother buy a house, and my brother's like literally like the closest person in my life.
Yeah.
And I just remember him asking me all.
And he's a maniac. Sorry.
He's a maniac. Yeah, he's still a maniac, by the way.
Oh, I know.
But he was asking me all these questions, and like we're running out looking at properties, and it's like, what should I bid? What should I bid? And I'm like, I don't know, like this, And I just remember thinking, like, I don't really like this process of it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it that much. And I love my brother, but I love like the other side of it, like listing a property, helping someone to get it priced correctly, like doing all that stuff. Like I love the salesmanship in that.
Can you go a little further? Like to me as an outsider, not a real estate person, what's the difference? What, like, I would think it would be kind of the same type of transaction, whether you're on that side or that side. What's the main difference that you see with those two?
Well, with a seller, you just have average because you can only work with so many buyers because they're looking all over the place.
Oh,
You can't work with 100 buyers in a year, but you can work with 100 sellers.
Okay.
So your hour per hour productivity is going to be higher working with sellers.
Yeah. Also, what's interesting too about working with sellers, you really have to be one of the top in your field to be attracting seller clients. Because again, I've always made the example, a buyer will just reach out to someone they know, their cousin, their friend, their neighbor, someone who's got a real estate license, say, hey, I'm in the market to buy a house. Can you help me? They're less selective. A seller, especially in the market that you deal with, which is the mainline market right outside of Philadelphia, I always make the example, a good seller can make 10 calls in one day. And I would guarantee that all 10 of those agents that they call would be at their doorstep within 24 hours or less, ready to make a listing presentation. So sellers have leverage in that they can pick and choose and be very selective as to who they want to work for. And they're looking at guys like Ryan because they're like, look at your volume. Like, I see your signs all over town. Like, I see your videos. I know you've been doing this for a while. So being a listing expert, being a seller expert is difficult in itself. Not only that, it's just, I make that example because I'm like, you know as well as I know, it's like they call all these agents like, oh, I got a $800,000 house. Like, do you want to come over and like tell me what it's worth? They're like, oh, when can I be there? Can I be there this afternoon? Can I be there tonight? Can I be there tomorrow? Like, that's how people respond. So I find it super interesting that you've like chosen that path, because working with someone like your brother, it's like, again, how much closer can you be with someone and want to help them find the home that works best for them and their family, but also knowing yourself and being like, it's my brother. I still don't want to do this. Like, this is not my vibe, which is cool because you could probably work like the amount of time it takes to work with a buyer. Like, you could have like 5 listings for every like one buyer, because a buyer could have you out 3 days a week, weekends, weeknights, like hours and hours a week to be like, I don't like this. No, I don't like this. Or like, we can make an offer, but I want to go super low. And you're just like, geez, that's going to take me 2 hours just to like comp it, write it, send it, and then have them tell me no because we're too low. So it could be to your point, it's a lot of work working with buyers. It's a ton of work working with sellers too, but you have to be at a certain point in your career to really consistently work with sellers, to always have listings, to have signs up on the street, because it's a respect thing. I mean, you're not going to get it unless you're really good.
So that was an intentional thing that you did, Tooch?
Yeah,
you said
100%.
This is what I want to do. So you obviously then walked away from business, right? If you're trying to just align with the listings, can you talk about that as well? Like telling no to people, or what intentional moves you made to then just get funneled into the listings only?
Yeah, I had to let that part go. And I think like as entrepreneurs, like we're all, we see an opportunity, we just want to run out, like, oh, money, let's go in that direction.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I had to just let go of that. And I have lost business from it, but I've also gained like a lot out of it. And I made this switch. I was very intentional. Like, I literally like burned the bridges. Like, I don't even have one of those keypads to like get, like, I don't even have that anymore.
Oh yeah.
So,
a little, or the app now to get into like
the
these
app,
electronic lock boxes, which are like the worst things that were ever invented. But anyway.
they're not big in the city, but some agents still use in the suburbs, and
they're terrible.
Yeah, I don't even have that. So I just don't do it. I don't enjoy it. And, I just focus in on it. It actually makes my day easier. Like, I know exactly what my intention is, and that's to go out and find a motivated seller.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so here's a good question. So I think you would agree with me that 2023 was a tough year. It was one of the slowest years in decades. What are your thoughts on 2024? So we're getting a lot of mixed signals out there, and I'm not going to put you on the spot too much, but
you kind of are.
Well, of course I am. But some experts are like, hey, it's because, if rates go down a little bit, the demand's still going to be there, and the supply is going to be low, and therefore prices are going to keep going up, which is what we've seen for the last couple of years. What are your thoughts on 2024? Like, what are you seeing out there?
So I think it's going to be very similar to 2023. The change from 2022 to 2023, in 2022, there was 6 million transactions nationwide. And then in 2023, there was, I think, like 4 million or 3.9.
Yeah.
So that was like a 20% cut, which means we all get paid pretty much less, right?
Yep.
Which is significant. But I think 2024 is going to be pretty similar to that. I think there may be like 4.2 million transactions. They're still trying to figure out how the rates are going to affect this. I think it's going to be pretty much the same.
Yeah. Are you less impacted or more impacted? What's the, if last year was the way it was, being a listing agent, does that skew you differently? How does that impact?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% it does. I mean, people are locked in. A lot of people don't want to move because they're locked into these low rates. So they don't want to trade a 2 or 3 for a 6.
Yeah.
And that's just going to decrease the number of transactions.
And so how do you dig it out? Like, I'm just trying to get into your mindset is like, okay, I've committed to this.
Yeah.
Now I got to go find it. Like, are you just trying to turn over every stone, work every relationship? Or is it more so you're just established enough where you're getting those people reaching out enough when they want to sell?
I think it's both. Like I literally like my whole day is set up to prospect, follow up my leads every single morning. So I'm constantly like looking and pre-qualifying sellers, seeing who's real, who's not. So yeah, so it's a little bit of both.
So you're just building the funnel to get, it's a numbers game, right? So like you're
It's
building
a numbers game.
build a
Yeah.
funnel, get enough people in there, and then that will get to the point of where I need to be on the listings.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
Cool.
It's nice too
Yeah.
because you're so the mainline market is still tight. So inventory is still tight. Knowing that you don't really work with buyers, when you're talking to sellers, let's say, who you don't know, and you're reaching out to them, it's like, hey, I'm an expert. I just sold the one down the street, whatever, however the conversation goes. And you're kind of asking where they at. Are most of the answers you're getting, I don't want to move because my rate's like 3% and I'm just not interested in paying more for something inferior to what I have and then paying 6%?
Yeah, there's got to be a compelling reason for them to move, and that's something that that's going to be up to them. Like I'm not going to. My goal is not to talk someone into moving; it's to help them move if they choose to do so.
Yeah.
So, it's just finding those people that actually want to move and helping them.
So they've committed, and then you're just the support on the back end.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't talk anybody into doing it. Yeah, they commit, and then I jump in at that point. But I have to go through a lot to find that person.
Yeah.
And qualify them and all that. Yep.
Yeah, cold calling, getting hung up on, having people call me a name that my mom didn't give me, all that stuff.
Which we won't use.
Have you ever had to fire a client? I love asking this question. Throw your hands up in the air, had to walk away, where you were like, there's just no working with this person.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's
tell us about
real estate. There's a few. It hasn't, probably like once every 2 years, I'll get someone that's just very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
And not worth your time.
They're just going to blame you for everything. Anything you do is not going to be right. And what I found is you're going to question that. Like you can hold them in a contract and kind of hold them hostage and just, butt heads with them, or you can just let them go.
Yeah.
And I've done both. And when you have that drag, I'm constantly like questioning like what we're doing and are we doing a good enough job? And it's just now I'm to the point where I'm just like, you know what? You want to go? No problem. Hey, wish you the very best. See you later. Don't let the door hit you in the ass and go find someone that's going to be appreciative.
Yep. Nice, man. Well said.
Yeah, we just had someone that did that very recently. And it was just, it's a relief. It's a relief to just move on from someone.
Well, if they're
Because
not
if they
willing
don't
to,
like you,
if they're not willing to work
you
with
don't like them. Yeah.
Totally.
And then they left and you're like, yo, the door did hit him on the ass.
Yeah.
Even better. Just made my day. All right. So here's another thing, another question we ask, and your answers were great. So it's like, what do you love most about business? And two of the things that you mentioned were goal setting, which we've kind of brushed upon, and then also competition. So talk about that a little bit. Because again, we went to grade school together, went to high school together. Dude, you were phenomenal.
Played Pop Warner together.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Abington Raiders.
Yeah. How about that?
They went to the Super Bowl this year down in Orlando.
Well, this is how
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
This is how
one of my buddies whose kid goes to St. Luke's, they played together. Matt Moyer's kid.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah.
This is how we figured out that Mooney knew you too. So I've known you since first grade, but Mooney's like, I've known Tooch since we were 8. I'm like, what? Just like sports? He's like, Abington Raiders. I'm like, nice.
That's how I met Mooney. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
I was very serious back then too.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk about competition. So again, I think you would probably agree with me. I mean, real estate, like insurance, is like, it's a full contact sport.
Yep.
Like, it's like people are throwing elbows and talking trash to get another deal. So what about competition really drives you in real estate? What do you love about that?
So I think it's just fun. I mean, we're not playing football anymore, right?
Yeah.
We're not playing Abington Rochester baseball. We're
Right.
not playing basketball. So I feel like it's the competition of just, outlasting someone and being better and constantly trying to improve, like asking yourself what's working and how can I do more of it? Like there's a part of that that's like very fun to me.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
And it is like we're in a cutthroat business. Like we're competing for resources out here.
Yep.
Well, it's blows for blows too, right? So like you have an agent that beats you out, and then you want to go back at them and try to do the same back to them. I mean, it's the same thing as any type of sports game.
Yeah, nobody likes to lose.
No.
Nobody likes to lose at all.
Yeah. True statement. So here's another thing. Do you have a tip for our listeners out there? So again, our audience is more real estate and insurance focused, but do you have a tip out there for those that are either in real estate already looking to get better, or those who are like, I'm interested in real estate? Any advice you want to give?
Yeah, I think and I mentioned this, proximity is power. So if you want to do something, like seek out those who have done it before. So if you're looking to scale a mountain, like you can't just like go to like a professor that talks about scaling the mountains. Like you need to go to the person who actually scaled the mountain and came and had done it successfully.
Yeah.
So get in proximity with someone who's done what you want to do. And I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it. Like you can go to someone who's doing like way more business than you are, whether you're in insurance or real estate. They're going to give you tips. Or you can go to someone that is maybe like 2 steps ahead of where you are. So if you're at 20 deals a year and you want to get to like 40, I would probably go to that 40 person a deal year rather than the person who's selling 300 homes a year.
Right.
Because they're going to remember exactly where you were, and they're going to tell you exactly the things that they did, so that you can improve on what your production is.
Has this played into like you like choosing the right coach over the years as well, and being like, this is where I want to go? Like, this is what, like when you said, hey, I just want to work with sellers. Like, I don't want to work with buyers anymore. Like, would you say it applies to that as well?
Yeah, that 100%. And as far as like coaching goes, like I was in one coaching environment where someone would be up on the stage and we'd all be looking at them, and they'd talk about, they'd ask people like how, what kind of car do you drive, Tim? Sean, how big's your house? And then, you guys would give answers and they'd be like, well, you need to get a better car. You need to get a bigger house. And the whole thing was predicated on like motivating you to raise your income. Raise your expenses so that motivated you to go out and work more.
Wow.
Now I'm at a point where, the guys that I run with now are like, it's all about financial freedom and making investments, buying cash flowing assets that pay you money, right? So that, we don't have to do this for the rest of our lives. I may want to do it the rest of my life, but I want the option to not have to do it the rest of my life.
On your terms.
On my terms, exactly. And that's been super helpful over the last probably like 4 years since I was in that. I'm just very crystal clear on what I want.
Here's another question that relates to that. So knowing that you've been a solo agent your whole career, you're totally focused on listings. Have you thought about maybe getting your own buyer agent at some point? Like someone that you can, it could be someone that you can mold yourself, or it could be someone that's like, hey, I got 2 years experience, 4 years experience, and I've done a lot of buyer deals and I'd love to do your buyer deals. Has that ever crossed your mind as an opportunity to kind of, it's like what you're saying, you're going to make some income off of that agent. I mean, I run a brokerage. We have plenty of agents. Some barely do any business and some are multi-million-dollar producers. So have you ever thought about that direction as like a way to kind of like, hey, I'm still making some income off what I already have, but I can kind of take a step back?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I think the trap that you can go down is that, that agent works with, I think my perception before was that agent works for you. So whatever they do, you get a piece of that. But in reality, like you're going to be involved in that business.
Yep.
So I'd rather just kind of be a little bit more arm's length from it, kind of hands off, and not having to take calls at night about, hey, they have a question about this. They need the utility bills. Like my business is very structured that like I don't really want to get into it. I don't want to have any distractions.
Yeah, it's
I
almost
feel
like
for,
you prefer like not to manage people, but like
yes,
manage your own time, your own
yes,
investments, like you said, syndication, things like that. It's like, hey, that's you can just make those decisions yourself. You're not worried about, hey, if someone doesn't show up and you're like, yo, I need you here because I got a buyer client here waiting for you, or like they called me or they're waiting for you to call back, then yeah, it's I mean, you got a couple of people working for you. So
But I think one of the takeaways from what you're just talking about in when you ask like, hey, how about some tips for maybe some people that are thinking about doing this or maybe like new in the business? I think that key of what he just outlined right there can be a humongous benefit for people that are in the business.
yeah.
He just mapped out, get a laser focus on what you want to do and how you want to get there, and you will get there faster, and it'll be the dividends paid on that will be way more.
Yep.
And I think that if more people don't get the shiny objects and go chasing this and chasing that, and they just get dialed in on what they want to do and how they want to get there, I think there's tremendous success in that.
Yeah, agreed. Awesome point, by the way. So here's our last one. So is there a go-to quote that you like?
yes.
You remember how
There
it
is
goes? You
no
want me to read it back to you?
what.
I can sing it. I'm pretty good at show tunes.
Yeah, read it back. I think there's no such thing as perfection, only perfect effort.
Yeah, man.
Right?
You got it.
Yep.
Do you know who said that, or is that just something you picked up along the way that you just really, you kind of abide by, you believe in it?
I heard that and I was like, wow, that's such a great quote, because how many times do we try to do something and we're like, oh, I got to learn more about it, or it's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Just do it, have it be screwed up. And then the next time you do it, you're perfecting it. You're making it better. And if you just keep doing those consistent actions over time are going to turn you into professional.
Yeah.
I've seen
And
your
that's really
bloopers
cool.
reel, Tooch.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
hey, I'm a year into those videos and I'm still very uncomfortable doing them.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate doing it. It's completely out of my comfort zone, but I'm committed to doing it because the internet's not going away.
Yep.
People that are on those sites like Instagram, TikTok, and
Well,
YouTube.
you've seen gains from it. I mean, it's like you put the work in, you stay consistent with it, and it's going to provide you business.
It is. It's going to pay off. It hasn't paid off like what I put into it, but you can't just try something for a year and just be like, oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I'm committed to doing it. It's not going to go away.
But I made the point of the bloopers because it's not always perfect,
Yeah.
right? Like, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. No, it's a really good example of you showing people. It's like, hey, this is what it takes. Like I had to do this thing like 10 times just to get it to sound decent. And
Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. It's good to be vulnerable through things like that. Show people you're a real person, just like anyone else. And I think people take a lot away from that as well. So why don't you tell people best way to reach out to you if someone's looking for advice, they want to know more about how to become an expert listing agent, maybe share with the audience like how they can reach out to you. What's the best way to get in touch?
So you can just Google my name, go to Ryan Petrucci. You'll see my website, ryanpetrucci.com. Now, that is not to be confused with the Ryan Petrucci that's in West Virginia.
Whoa.
There's also another Ryan Petrucci in West Virginia who's a real estate agent. He's the same age as me, and he kind of looks like me, like if you look online. Yeah.
Let's
You're
call
like,
him.
You're like,
after
he's
the
got
show.
a beard. He's got a blazer. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I get calls for his stuff.
So we're going to Google Ryan Petrucci, not West Virginia.
Ryan Petrucci from the hills of West Virginia.
That's right. Yes. Not to be confused.
Hey, Ryan, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Ryan.
Great having you. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Bricks and Risk. See you soon. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bricks and Risk. Our goal is that you walk away with 1 or 2 valuable nuggets, and we greatly appreciate you sharing your time with us today. You can find all B&R episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcast content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.